This is a Tape Deck podcast.
Hi everyone, this is your host Tom. We were thinking about different things to get people in the mood and keep people continuing to train. So Michael, our magical wizard of editing, is going to piece together this following episode, which is the road to Dopey. So basically, this is the journey that we went through training and then running Dopey and all that good stuff. So hopefully the nostalgia there will motivate you to keep going. And hopefully we paint a glorious picture of it. And I hope you enjoy.
Yep. Yeah. I'm glad I threw this on you and didn't let you workshop it at all. So you just had to come up with all this off the top of your head. And yeah, basically we're going to, it's since everybody's kind of starting that, or a lot of people are starting Dopey training, I thought it would be fun to kind of take a look back for everyone, and they can get a first time Dopeyer's experience all in one episode, the whole journey, those months and months and months and months and months and months of training.
Yep.
Oh my God.
So hopefully you enjoy this. You'll hear all four of our journeys probably through there. Mostly we'll focus on Tom since Aaron, you'd done it before, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh, that was your first
No,
Dopey?
I didn't even do Dopey.
Oh, that's right. You didn't
What
do
is
Dopey.
happening?
Oh man, I forgot you got hurt. We'll journey with Aaron getting hurt for
my
Dopey.
God.
Diana ran her second Dopey.
Yeah, and I trained and did everything as it should be. So
Oh,
yeah,
it was also
no
my
issues.
first Dopey. No, you had no issues. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was your first Dopey too.
It was my
because
first Dopey too.
Oh my
I forgot
God.
about
What
that.
is happening? This
So-
intro is like gone off the rails, just
Yeah.
like every other
Leave
episode.
it all
the
in.
entire world.
Enjoy my first Dopey, Tom's first Dopey, Diana's second Dopey, and Aaron not making it to Dopey. Spoiler alert.
the journey to not dopey.
Everybody
me?
hurts.
Yeah.
It'll get better.
What misery are you about to thrust upon
no,
us?
nothing,
Good
nothing.
God.
I can't wait to
I'm
hear it when
running-
I edit.
I'm running because we're in the middle of a 4-week block of races where we have at least a 10-miler on one day of the weekend. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you guys did the Charles Street 12 or the Annapolis 10, then the Charles Street 12. Now you have Burn Hand, and then you have Rockin' the Knob. So you have
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't have
So-
rockin' it up.
and then 1 week and then the Army 10-miler
Oh, my
and then not much until Philadelphia, but we're going to start Dopey training
Yeah.
from a half marathon point,
Yeah.
right? So those miles are going to be there and they're going to be during the week. So we're in the thick of it.
Yep.
To the thick of it.
Into the thick of it.
I'm in a really good mental headspace right now.
Yeah, you are. She really is.
Well, you're
I'm not
PRing
feeling-
every race that you run right now,
To
too.
be
I'm
honest,
feeling-
it's off-putting. Your
I'm-
positivity is
I was
off-putting.
I'm feeling really good, and I'm telling you, it's because I'm technically not dopey training yet.
Are you still not Dopey
For
training?
another no,
Okay.
not until the week of the 17th.
Oh, okay.
So technically, we're just hanging out.
Oh my God. I can't
So
believe
I
that's
think,
working for you.
It's exhausting. If this is just hanging out, it's exhausting.
It's so great.
Uh.
So yeah, I'm actually in a really good mental space. I ordered a new running vest. I'm really excited.
one did
about
you go
that, to
with?
try that on. I got a Nathan, kind of like the one you have, a little different. All the
Is
ones I wanted
The
did not come in black, so I got this like insanely lime green one.
that might be the same. That might be the one of the ones that I have. Is it the
It's
Yes,
hang
I have
on,
that
Tom
one.
just picked
I have
it up.
it. I have it.
It is.
It's the new. It's
looking at
the
a
new
tag.
one that's not after the Vapor How.
Pinnacle.
Yes, the Pinnacle. So I'm in a boot. I'll get the MRI next week, and then I will see him next Friday, because by going to the emergency ortho, what that afforded me was the woman internally texted my doctor and said, "Hey, I have your patient here." And he's like, "Okay, book her for next week." So I got moved up from the 26th to next Friday. So before we head to
jump the line,
rocking the knob, I will find out for sure what's going on. And hopefully when I see him, I'll at least get a timeline. So I still don't have a timeline on my return to running, but it's been 5 weeks since I've run, and I suspect it'll be 8 to 10 total.
Wow. It's been 5 weeks. Well, because I guess you walked that distance one you guys did.
Yeah. And that's probably what made it as bad as it was. So, I have a lot of regrets, but I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. And so because yesterday I sat in my car and I cried a lot.
Well, I mean, sometimes you need to cry. That's 100% fine. So like, sometimes you have to let it out because it sucks.
I know. I'm trying not to cry right now. I feel like I keep like starting to come back and then get set back, and it's been like a little hard. And then I get really mad because I was like, I should have made this appointment before I left for vacation because I knew it wasn't great. Like, there's just all these things that like I should have done, but I know that there's no point. So I just need to pick myself up and Peloton my way to Dopey.
There it is.
Yep, you can do it.
That's the plan.
You can do it.
So,
well, and actually, my friend Nicole, she wasn't injured, but she just did a ton of Pelotoning and wasn't running, and was running kind of long distances for races and stuff that we were all doing, and was fine. And she's like, "Oh, I think it's the Peloton." So it does, I think, help.
I think that, and I think that a few people I know have sent me messages that are like, "Hey, I trained for Dopey in 2019 or 2018, like where I did like 50% of my miles on the bike." And I've gotten advice where like, if you are supposed to run for like, say your 4 miles and it would take you 40 minutes, just double your time on the bike. I don't know if I'll ever get to like that where I'm doing that much biking, but I would like to get some of the really long rides in, like the 90-minute rides, and maybe even get up to a 2-hour ride. But I don't know. We'll take it as it comes.
Well, yeah, and don't overdo it. Like, I know you're stressed right now, but like, be easy on yourself. Like, you deserve to be easy on yourself. It's nothing, it's just your body. It's tired. I don't know. We're all tired.
I know. And honestly, while the break is really mentally hard because I find running to be like that outlet that I also like for my mental health. I also think some like downtime to heal my body was what it needed. So taking 4.5 weeks off from anything wasn't necessarily bad for me. I think that, it kind of my body needed a reset anyway. So, and I'm not going to pick up my Peloton miles too quickly. Like I said, I'm going to try and keep my rides a little shorter for all of September. I'll do like 20 and 30-minute rides 4-ish times a week. And then in October, figure out what I'm going to do next. But figuring October will also be a heavy bike before I can return to running in November. Which I storied about, so maybe because I got a little bit of a update on like kind of where a shin splint is versus where the pain is on mine. When I did my first video, I was showing where my pain currently is, but the shin splint, when you have one, when we were talking about it, is a little bit further back behind, like underneath your calf. And really, when I think about it, like that's where the pain started, and then it started like radiating in the ankle and then up into the front. The front part is where once I got to a stress fracture. So if you ever have pain towards the back of your calf, underneath it, around your ankle, and then it radiates to the front, go see a doctor immediately because it might be a stress fracture.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Like, I thought like maybe it might be a stress fracture. I can't believe it got so bad.
Yeah. So they grade them 1 to 4, and I got a 4.
Congratulations.
Yes, that's good.
You are the best.
You are the best at hurting yourself.
Your 12-hour run probably had something to do with that.
No.
That's weird. That's weird.
Can't believe.
It's weird. It's weird that would happen.
Cannot believe that.
Like, maybe it could have stayed at grade 1, but then you decided that running for 12 hours or walking for 12 hours was a good idea. So
seems like weird that would happen.
I don't know.
It seems like a very runner thing to do.
Yes, but the good news is that, like I have told some people, I self-booted myself, as we kind of talked about. Because I felt like I had this like Disney. Yeah, I just like my gut told me it was bad, and so people are like, oh, about runners who don't listen to their doctors, but I always want to be running as fast as I can, like healing as quickly as I can to get back to running. So I think I do actually listen to my doctors when they tell me like something's wrong.
Me too.
I had that. Sure. I had a gut feeling. So he did say that because I did all of that and I did a lot of smart stuff up front, I'm much further into the process of healing than he would expect a runner to be when they come see them at this point.
That's awesome.
So it's usually an automatic 12-week in a healing process.
Okay.
He said that because I'm at week 6 and he feels like I've been smart the whole time, and based on the MRI and where the healing is, I can start weaning myself off the boot over the next 2 weeks. So don't wear it in the house when I'm in the house, but wear it when I'm outside and walking around. Then I can go like outside a little bit or at work if I'm just sitting at work and not doing anything, but still wear it when I'm walking in stores.
Is he aware that you're dodging ghosts on an uneven floor in your house? Like, is he aware of that? Would that change if you have to wear a boot in the house?
I don't know. So we'll see how it goes. By week 3, he said I can stop wearing the boot altogether and then just always make sure I have the boot in my car or something in case I'm doing something or I can feel it or it's starting to bother me. He gave me full permission for the Peloton, said, you know, he was like, I actually trust you to do what you're supposed to because you self-booted yourself, because that's unheard of.
Yeah.
So
while
like,
ignoring that you walked on it for 12 hours.
You know, whatever.
Look, you got to do what you got to do.
Mistakes were made. It's fine.
Yeah. So, yeah, he said, you know, obviously if you're riding and it hurts, don't do it. If you're doing it, he gave me permission to do full weight yoga, like on my both legs yoga, because I've been doing on the ground yoga a little bit to keep my like body, I don't know, doing something else too, because I can't do any strength training, like anything like like full weight bearing training, like that's all out right now. So he said, but yoga is soft enough that even if I'm standing on one foot, that where the heel, how far along it is, that should be fine.
Could you do like leg lifts and that kind of stuff?
Nope. Nothing yet. No strength training at all. So I see him in about 3 weeks. And then he said, we'll reevaluate at that point. He thinks I can start doing some strength training. And then we'll talk about a return to run program at that point. But I mean, even a return to run program at that point will just be like a mile walk just to see how it feels. And if it's not feeling good, then stop. So, I mean, it'll still be a full 12 weeks before I can like run. So, but I'm 6 weeks in, so I have 6 more weeks basically.
Yeah.
So I have hope. So we'll see. I mean, it gives me a little hope that I'm a little further along than, you know, I could have been if I hadn't played it smart myself in August and before we went away. And this means that I'll be running by hopefully the end of October. 6 more weeks brings me to the last week. It only gives me 11 weeks to train for Dopey, so I'm still a little nervous. But if I can keep my Pelotoning up as much as I can for the cardio part of it, and then also do some yoga and eventually in the next 3 weeks start some strength training, I'm hopeful that return to run won't be too bad.
And I mean, we take the first like 3 races of Dopey really, really easy.
Yeah.
So even if you start the marathon and decide I'm done and I want to get swept, you can do that,
Yeah.
and just kind
So
of
we'll see.
take it slow and steady.
Either way, I'm gonna, I think I can get through the first 3 races. It really is the marathon that I'm a little worried about, with only 11 weeks and 12 full weeks off from running.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I have hope. I'm running for hope.
Believe in you. We believe in you.
I love it. Cool. Well, I'll jump in because speaking of Dopey, I can't say I'm not training for Dopey anymore. It's officially here.
It's here. It's time.
I cannot be like, well, I'm not Dopey training. Because our first official training run for Dopey will be this Tuesday. We got 5 miles we're supposed to do on Tuesday. Is that right?
Yep.
And then we're in hell for the next whatever. So
12 weeks
here.
or whatever. Yeah.
12 weeks.
Well, it's more than 12 weeks because I have 11 weeks from when I can run. So you got about 18 weeks, I guess.
All right. There we go. I've got like the thing on my calendar for tomorrow that's like week 1 Dopey training. So I've been trying to kind of take it easy, and I've decided, like, because we did 3 races in a row.
Yeah.
And Tom did 4 races in a row. I'm not doing anything this weekend. Like, I didn't run yesterday. I might do a little Peloton today. We'll see how I feel, if I just want to be lazy and then jump into it. So
16 weeks. We have 16 weeks till
16
Dopey.
weeks.
There you go.
Here it is. If anyone wants our plan, let me know. If anyone is kind of planning on running with us or keeping us company, we're running 2 and 1s. Run 2 minute, walk a minute. We'll do some variation of that at all the races. For some of the races, we might switch it the whole time and run a minute, walk 2 minutes. So that's what we're training to.
I'm going to piggyback off that. Here goes Dopey.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm chasing that dwarf.
Woo!
I'm very intimidated, but trust the training. I'm gonna put in the miles on the feet.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey,
you put in a grind yesterday.
I mean,
if you can do that, you can do Dopey.
And with like 3,500 feet of elevation.
No. I mean, I'm gonna put in the work. That's all I'm
Yes.
saying. I'm putting in the work.
Yeah.
I'm gonna focus on the training, and here we go.
Okay.
But goodbye to everybody that doesn't run, because honestly, we'll see you. I'll see you
We'll see you, Jan. We'll see you, Jan.
mid-January, and we'll catch up with you.
Oh man. I guess I'm running for whatever the next race is. We have a track race in 2 weeks
Mm-hmm.
or a week and a half from Endless Endurance, who did the Loopy Looper that we did. It's a track race, a 12-hour track race in Camden, New Jersey, that we're going to do. And after that, I'm not sure. I think maybe do Badger Palooza, which I think has 6, 12, and 24. I was thinking about doing the 24, and it has you do a 5K every hour.
Yeah, it's different. It's not like not like you're running the whole time.
You do a 5K each hour,
but you have to make sure you're obviously back by the hour mark, or you get swept.
Yeah.
And you did you do something like that before? Or did Donna Quackenbush run O'Donna?
We all kind of did. We all kind of did the Yeti thing.
No. The Biffledink. I know Megan.
What is that?
The what?
Avis. The Biffledink.
You haven't heard of the Biffledink?
What? You said it like we all know what this is.
I can't Google this quick enough. Look,
it's just a funny
don't
word.
It is. It's by Smart Mouth Brewing Company.
Okay.
I thought so.
All right.
I thought it's called the Biffledink by Smart Mouth Brewing Company. And the actual race is a 50K where you run a 5K for 10 hours every hour.
All right.
I know Mark
Gotcha.
and Megan did that. I don't remember when, at some point in their life. And then a couple other people I know may have done it. Maybe Brittany? I'm not sure. Other people did it though.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like burnout is real. And after doing 25 and 26 races this year,
even if they're like
5Ks or 10Ks or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Logistically, you have to wake up, you have to be there at a certain time. And especially because we're getting into like fall and a lot of these races, that's the one thing that I do like about spring and fall is you're not dictated. You don't have to get up at 5 a.m. to go out and run. You can kind of fit it in wherever you want. And then just even the logistics of a 5K, it just takes up your entire day, you know?
Agreed. Yeah, I agree. I just feel like sometimes you need to like run for you. And I mean, Jamie specifically started running for himself when he started. And then once he found the racing, he just started signing up for it to keep himself motivated.
As you do.
Which is great. It's just that sometimes you lose some of the like for you part of it. Like that you're just going out there for yourself to, you know, feel good and to mentally, you know, give yourself.
I think he's been doing it long enough now where he doesn't have to worry that, I don't have a race on the calendar, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas in the beginning, you have that like, I need this, I need
or
that. Or
even if you just pull back to like once a month doing like, I have a Saturday race. I'm just going to do a Saturday race.
One. It looks fun.
But like not every weekend, just like, you know, for the next couple months, be like, pick and be much more like, I want to run a turkey trot. Yeah. Cool. But then the rest of the time you're just running for yourself.
Because you're going to be putting in a lot of time.
Yeah, marathon training is a grind. And like at that point, you're making a commitment to be out there for the hours that you need to be out there for. So before you get into that mindset, do, you know, kind of what Diana did. I'm not dopey training.
I'm telling you, I'm in a great mental place right now.
Just lie to yourself.
Just lie to yourself.
Last time I was dopey training, by the time we technically hit dopey training, I was miserable because I called it dopey training all summer.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So at this point, last time I did it, I was already burnt out.
Yeah.
I'll say this though, like hearing his like being able to follow his journey throughout. Look, just because I live in a climate that isn't terrible, I shouldn't be penalized for it.
No, we do live in a climate that's terrible. Like Michael and I are about to go into hibernation mode, and we're just going to refuse. We're going to refuse to go outside.
You have no choice, Diane. Oh, well, I guess you can do the treadmill. You have no choice but to get those miles in, though.
Oh yeah, but a lot of it. I'm predicting, especially during the weekdays, a lot of those will be on treadmill. And then I'll at least have the camaraderie on the weekend to keep me going and to get me through them.
Yeah. I hate the treadmill. Like I love it. I love having the option of it, but like I did after we got home on Sunday, I did 9 miles on the treadmill.
Oof.
That's just a long time on a treadmill watching a television that I can't change the channel. Like I watched so much Law and Order.
Do you have
subtitles? Do
you have like a little iPad or a tablet or something that you could like put what you want with headphones in?
I mean, I could. Yeah. I have options, but
that's usually what I do.
I'd prefer to just complain about things.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh my God, Tom.
Just saying. Oh boy.
I don't know. I like the treadmill.
I love the treadmill. We have had this conversation many times. Diana and I are team treadmill. The boys are not, but also Michael's on the opposite side of the weather spectrum too. So I don't know what he's going to do because he's not team treadmill and he's not team cold and dark. So I mean, he's just screwed.
I think it's more the dark that bothers me than the cold is what it is.
Remember the revelation we had where Aaron was like, I don't mind training in the winter.
No, and then we
were like, wait, that you run on the treadmill.
But no, then we established that I was wrong. I was in fact wrong about that because my friend Lynn reminded me how often I met her in the cold and dark and how many runs we did outside in the cold and dark. And my Strava, in fact,
sounds like revisionist history.
Strava would, in fact, be able to prove these things to be true.
Have to scour the Strava and see.
We will.
Happily Skinner after. To go from running my first half this past February to my first full this upcoming January. It's also Dopey.
Ah, nice.
Yep. So you're going from basically within the same 12 months from doing your first half to doing Dopey.
Yes.
That's amazing.
That is incredible.
That's silly.
I had to do month math in my head. I was like, wait.
Yep. All right. What else? We'll announce the Facebook group already. And then lastly, we have planned our meetup for Marathon Weekend coming up in Disney. The first actual, I would say, like real big announced meetup that we're doing well ahead of time so that to make sure people can actually be there on Friday. I should have looked at the exact date of that before starting this announcement. On Friday, the 6th of January, we will be at Disney Springs over by the food trucks, which is over by the AMC theater. When you come in through that garage, you'll see the Starbucks over there. It's towards the left going towards Splitsville. There's a food truck area. I'll post it on our social media as well. And with a little arrow as to exactly where we'll be. X marks the spot. 1 p.m. Disney Springs.
Yeah.
So if you're doing Friday, the 10K, yep.
Yeah. We picked Friday, because the 10K is that day, so it's shorter.
Yeah.
And then the half is longer, so people will be like freaking out to get.
And no one but me needs to be around Tom on Saturday afternoon.
Well, I mean, we know that because I know that I have in the past flown in on Friday and missed meetups because of the Friday meetups.
It's like
we apologize if you are flying in Friday because you're only running the half and the full. Or you're only running the full, and only in Disney will I ever say only running a full. I mean, that's just the most ridiculous phrase ever. But as Michael just pointed out, Saturday is a little bit more difficult. Tom will be freaking out about running the marathon the next day. So we got to tuck him in bed and get him to sleep.
Nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you talking about me like I'm not on the call, but it's very true. It's very true. Yeah. And we will work through it together.
And there are a few other like podcasts and group meetups in Disney Springs on Friday. So we figured like not making you guys like run all over the place. Don't feel like you have to come and stop by. And if you can't come, we'll see you on course or probably before one of the races or,
yeah,
we'll be around.
We started this Facebook group, so we'll post where we're going to be in the group now, apparently.
Aaron and I will be there the whole week before. I will not be posting in the group.
He will not be posting in the group. No. He is right.
No.
Yes, but we figured this way it's kind of outside. It's not really at a place where you'd have to buy anything or feel pressure to
hang out.
Just hang out, come by for like 10, 15 minutes if you want. We'll be there from about 1 o'clock to maybe around 2:30. So we'll be there for about an hour and a half, just hanging out there. So if you have time in between those hours, just come on, stop by, say hi.
And I'll be Cinderella, and I have an expiration date. So if I just ghost everyone and I'm gone, it's not that I don't love you. It's just that I have to go to bed.
Well, that's why we're doing it early on a Friday.
Yep.
That's what I'm running for. My favorite thing, early cold mornings.
I was thinking about this. I'm very mentally weak. And you got to know that about yourself so you can address it. So here's the thing. I'm very intimidated by Dopey. And I think about it a lot. And there's a ton of training miles in between now and that challenge. So rather than think of all of those things, think of the 20-miler that's coming up on Thanksgiving or whatever it is, right?
He has been talking about how much we have to run Thanksgiving weekend
for
about 5 months now.
It's amazing.
He's like, do you know how much we have to run on Thanksgiving Day? And I'm like, I know. I put it on your calendar. It's awful.
So it's actually helped me cope with it a lot more if I just take it day by day. If I only focus on what's on the training plan for that day.
Yep.
Not look at the weekend, not look at 2 weeks from now, none of that stuff.
Gotcha.
Just day by day, and it's helping, and that's all I care about.
I love it. Can I
That's all
give
I
you
care
some
about.
advice? Do that during the actual races too.
Yeah.
Take it
Okay.
one day at a time. Think of the 5K. I don't even think about the rest of the weekend. Think about the 5K that you're doing that day and only those miles. And then even when you get to the marathon, think about the mile that you're in and just get through that mile and see what the rest of the time takes you. Just
That's
stay
the
in
plan.
the moments.
That is the plan.
Don't do what I do and curl up into a ball in the corral and then throw your Mylar blanket on top of you and just cry by yourself. That was not the best approach to kick off my marathon.
Oh my god!
Alone and crying. It was so
That's a good
cold
start.
too.
Yeah, that's a good
It was
start
so
to a marathon. Oh my god!
Oh god, that's so funny. Oh, I guess I'm not running for anything again. I'm Pelotoning for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you've been super active. Like, I've been so impressed and like I'm in awe of how active you have been.
I do feel like I got some motivation. This is the second week that I've been doing the Power Zone I'm in just started week 3 because it's not even weeks. I started for whatever reason when I clicked the start program button, it was on a Wednesday. So here we are on Wednesday, starting week 3. But since I started that, I put out a call to people on my Instagram and people have been messaging me to ride with me. So thank you. I really appreciate that.
Oh.
Tom doesn't appreciate that very much
Must
though,
be nice.
because I left him out and I've been getting a lot of
Don't let him bully you. He hasn't been on this bike in like 3 weeks. Like,
First of all, yes, I have.
Anyway,
Don't
so
exaggerate.
I am not running for anything, but I am Pelotoning for a lot.
I need to start doing that.
and then Nikki Runs Diz. Is just making it through my races in one piece of goal. Yes. Because that's where I am. Follow-up comment. I'm only kind of kidding. On top of making it through all the Disney races I've signed up for, Space Coast full, and I'm just pushing along and doing the training. Got to take Tom's advice one day at a time.
She texted randomly and was like, on an impulse as part of her training. She hasn't run a marathon. She was doing Dopey as her first marathon. She's like, guys, I signed up for the Space Coast full marathon. We're like, what just happened?
I mean, it's not a bad weekend to do that distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because it's right after Thanksgiving.
It's the right timing. Yeah.
It's the right timing. You can do it. You got this,
Well,
girl.
Megan Avis signed up to do it with her. So that makes me feel a little bit better about Nikki getting through and having fun with it because Megan will help keep her out of her head.
That's true.
She's so great.
Yeah, she's so good at that. Yeah.
Oh my God, she's amazing.
So
and
excited to see them do that. Excited to see Nikki do her first full marathon. Now, not at Disney, but in Space Coast. We'll be
Space
virtually
Coast is
cheering.
great.
Yeah, we'll
Still
be
a great
virtually
one.
cheering her on.
Space Coast is amazing.
I don't know. I think I'm definitely leaning more Rehoboth than the 100K, but we'll see.
Knowing you, who knows? It could go either way.
It could go either way. And then we have Frosty Looper a couple weeks later, or a week later. I don't know.
Weren't you trying to get Tom to come up and do Frosty Looper?
Yeah. I think it's good
It
timing.
was Celtic Solstice Day.
Yeah, Celtic Solstice.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Frosty Looper would be a great training day though,
Yeah.
because it's paved, so you
Yeah.
can just
And you just do as many loops as you feel like, and then you
walk
all
it,
in a supported atmosphere.
Yeah, so
every 4 miles you have 8 in support.
That's actually a really good training race.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be running the beautiful hills of the Baltimore Zoo.
That's right. Yeah.
Just a nightmare.
How's your training going, Tom?
Day by day. It's
It's
fine. Day by day.
Getting it all in though, right?
There's a lot going on at work this week, so I might need to get a little creative. I don't want it to spill over onto Friday, but like I'm working from home Friday and I don't have anything scheduled, so I don't know. Like I'm going to get all of my cumulative miles in for the week. And then this weekend we got long runs back to back, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm getting in the miles.
Yeah, the one thing I keep telling Tom, and this is kind of a lesson learned from Dopey training last time, is miles are miles when you're training for this type of distance. So like you don't have to burn yourself out. So if you get up and you're like, oh my God, this sucks so bad, I do not feel like running today, walk. Like it's time on your feet more than anything. So like
definitely.
we ran kind of we did 12 miles on Saturday, and then Sunday we had to do 6. So instead of running 6 or flipping our interval for 6, we took the dog and we walked up to Starbucks, which is 2.5 miles from the house, got a Starbucks, sat down. I had oatmeal and then walked back and then added an extra mile. So we got 6 miles. The dog got 6 miles. He slept the rest of the day. That was amazing.
Yep.
He was so sleepy. But yeah, it's just that miles on feet. So I keep trying to talk him off the ledge a little bit when he's
because not all training runs are going to be good. Like I went out Saturday to the woods just because it had been a while since I've been in the Pines, and I was going to do like 25 or something, and I got out there and I was like
Yep.
And I cut it relatively short. I cut it down to 20, so I was like
all right, God. I'm running for, this is kind of stupid, but the concept of eating an elephant, because how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I am taking every day, and I said this last time, but I'm taking every day as its own, like day by day. And I'm really trying not to get intimidated by the miles that we have on our training plan. But yeah, they're getting up there. Every weekend it's going to be double-digit runs and recovery and do it again and yada, yada, yada. We have a couple 20-milers coming up. It is what it is. Just taking it a day at a time.
It's the only way you can get through it, to be honest. I mean, like, there's no...
That's it.
There's no... And I think I had this conversation with my friend Mindy the other day, was like that it's just, she was saying she had a bad 16-miler and she was worried about her 17-miler, and I said, once you're done with a run, it's one of those things you got to look at the run that's on your calendar and not think about the miles ahead or behind, because the rest of it doesn't matter at that. You just got to concentrate on what's
because you can't go back
in front
and
of you
change
that day.
And
like maybe it's stunk, but that 16-miler is preparing you for like your 17 or 18-miler. Like, you gotta take them as they come.
Yeah, I actually ran with Tom for 14 miles, just the two of us. We've never done that before.
Wow.
It was fine.
You've never done that before?
Not for that long.
Not one-on-one.
Not one-on-one.
Wow. That's weird concept, I guess, because Michael and I run so many miles together.
Yeah, we hardly ever run together.
Well, not anymore, but whatever.
We'll either run like as a big group, or if we run together, it's not that far, or we'll walk.
Yeah.
We walk together a lot, but like we don't like go for a run together. I'm spoiled now, and I can't run by myself anymore. And my running girls were both busy and couldn't run with me. So I was like, guess who's running 14 miles with you?
And I was like, guess who's slowing down today?
It was great. I loved it. For me, I'm actually feeling good. I'm just trusting the training, and I literally am not looking too far ahead. So even when...
That's the best way to do it.
When we were talking on Sunday night, I was like, oh, wait, I have to look and see how much we're running this week, because I had no idea. So I'm just kind of going kind of day by day. I feel pretty good. My legs are tired. Like they're heavy and they're tired.
Yeah, fatigued.
And just fatigued.
But that's what they're supposed to feel like.
So I think that's normal. I'm trusting the plan because I did not trust it last time. I'm sticking to the plan. I'm icing. I'm doing, the Epsom salt bath. So I'm trying to recover. I've got to get slightly better at stretching. So that'll be my goal for this week is to get better at stretching. And I am noticing the brace is helping, and it's helping a lot because I'm not getting that pain anymore. And we went and walked at the track last night, And we were walking kind of fast, not like super fast, but I didn't wear my brace because I knew we were just walking, and it started to hurt like halfway through what we were doing. And I was like, I got to wear it while I'm walking now.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting that, like what I thought
Keep
was a shin
supported.
pain, but
yeah.
And then,
well, I sent Diana a knee brace that last episode we were talking about your ACL, and Nicole, who I wasn't 100% sure listened to this podcast, sent me a picture of the one that she's using. That's more like it's not like a full sleeve type one. It's very open and just has like a hinge. And we looked at it and all of us were like, what is that? And why does it look like a torture device?
Yeah. But I was looking at it. So I actually was thinking about trying one that was like that. They're just expensive. So I'm kind of, I don't know if I'm going to wait. If I'm going to do it, I need to do it now so I can get used to it. I was going to say,
but is it worth it?
Yeah, is it worth it?
I mean, like with the expense of something like that to make sure that your ACL or your lack thereof stays secure.
I also don't even know what to do with this thing. Like, I guess I'm going to like Febreze it. It's going to start to get gross. I think I'm going to have to buy like 2 of these.
The other one looks like it's very open and airy and breathy, and it's like just got the hinge.
And it's not just going to hold my sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it might be worth it just for that alone.
Yeah. So thank you for sending that. I appreciate it. And then,
Tom, how are you feeling?
How am I feeling?
I tell you what the vibe in this house is. It's not good. It's just it's not pleasant here.
I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm irritable.
You're getting the miles in?
Yeah. Like,
are you hitting your miles?
Yes. But like, don't do that. That's not nice. But
for those who are not visually able to see, Diana was giving a so hand gesture.
Like, for the most part,
okay.
It's not like definitive, but like
you're struggling a little bit on weekdays.
Yeah.
Those are the hardest.
It's hard. Yeah. It's hard to get those. I mean, even like your first Dopey, you said that yourself. Yep. Like, and he doesn't have the hard lesson yet of how miserable he was at his first Dopey. So,
and I'm in a more privileged position now because I'm remote. So I'm starting a lot later. Yeah. Like when I was doing Dopey last time, when I would have to run those miles, I would have to get up 4 or 4:30. And I don't have to do that because it's not a big deal for me to get home at 8 or 8:30, jump in the shower, and I can be logged on by 9, which is later than I normally would start, but it's like not a big deal.
There have been some cheating times. Let me explain to you what that means. like today I walked the dog in the morning, and then I came home and we had 7 on the training plan, and I just went and did 7 miles. Mm-hmm. So I got them today.
Yep.
And the run was 100% dedicated to the training. Other days, like if it's 6 on the training schedule, I'll walk the dog 2 miles in the morning, and then I'll go do 4 miles afterwards, after work. So cumulative, I've got 6 on the day, but it's not in the same block.
Which is like time on your feet.
It is time on your feet, but like it's a little bit of cheating, right? Because I'm applying the dog walks.
I don't know.
Which are miles.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know if I completely agree with that, because I know that and there are some run coaches who will tell you that like splitting a run morning, especially when you got like weird work schedules, doing like if you got a 20 miler and the only way you can get it in is to do 10 in the morning and 10 in the evening, it's still better than not having done the 20 miles.
Yes, I agree with that.
I'm trying to get away from doing that though. Like whatever miles I do, dog walking or whatever, I'm really, really trying to not have that count towards the actual miles. I want the actual miles to stand on their own.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to also be careful with that, because, I mean, that extra time on the feet can also mean that you need extra recovery time, too. So you do have to take some of that into account. Mm-hmm. And don't discount it completely.
No, and I 100% agree with that. And the only other thing I will say is he does that 2 mile dog walk with the every single morning with Archie.
Okay.
So like that's part of his everyday routine. So I don't even think. Is it weird to say like your body doesn't notice? Like it's like almost like muscle memory to go out and get like that 2 miles. Like I walk the dog usually a mile every day at lunch, sometimes like a mile and a quarter if I go, a certain way home. But I don't really count that with like whatever I'm doing. Yeah. But I'm not walking him as much as Tom walks him because sometimes Tom will walk him 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening.
And I'm going to adjust it. Like we're going to get to these like 10 miles during the week on like a Thursday. I'm not going to walk him 4 miles that day and then also do another like the 10, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm going to really be focused on getting my training miles in. He'll get his walks, but he might not get 4 or 5 miles like he sometimes does.
Poor Archie. He's going to get neglected.
Oh, no. He's got a great summer body. He's fine.
Summer bod.
Michael, do you have any training updates? I mean, what are you? What's your next?
I don't know.
He doesn't know.
I'm taking the week off. We got Frosty Looper December 18th. It got moved. Sorry. December 18th. That's my next race. So, I gotta start running again. It's so weird because I went into the 50K and I was thinking about it that morning and I'm like, I don't know. I take these things like they're 5Ks at this point, and I don't know that that's the right thing to do.
No, it's not at all.
I'm like, it's just 8 hours, like just like whatever, it's 32 miles or whatever. And it's just like, I don't know. I'll just walk. Like if it happens, I'll just walk for a while. It's like, I don't know. It's so weird. I don't know.
It is like, okay. I mean, I used to be able to run distance too, but I don't think I've ever, even like when I was doing longer distances, been just like, oh, I'm just going to go out for a 20 miler the way that he has.
I don't know.
Wish I could.
It's weird.
That. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's weird at this point, but I'm looking forward to Frosty Looper. I'm hoping the weather is decent, and I may like shoot for a goal that day, and then that'll kind of be like my last race before Dopey, Right now, I don't know what I'm doing at Dopey. I originally had some time goals for Dopey. I don't know if I'm really going to do that, though.
Well, you haven't really trained for speed at all.
Yeah, I've kind of like eased back. Oh, I do. I set a training goal of I want to get to 100,000 feet of climbing by the end of the year.
That's where I
forgot about that goal. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I don't have much to go.
I was going to say, how close
he doesn't have much. Okay.
I will let you know how much.
Qualify. I don't have much to go.
Relative for us, I do.
He has 1.5 or 2, just about 2 months left to be able to do it, and he has to do like.
Let's see where I'm
more
at.
than a third of what he's already done.
I just have 35,000 feet to go.
Yeah, like he's like, I've spent 10 months doing 60 whatever, and now I still have 35 to go in 2 months. Like, and he's like, no big deal.
It's a good goal.
And this is why everyone's injured. No one has toenails. It's just the feelings coming out of you Tom has about Dopey in this training process. They just sound different when it's coming out of him. Like the tone and the exasperation you're feeling with daylight savings. That's Tom right now with Dopey training.
Well, I get it because it's the first big of your first really long event.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just stupid and like, I don't know, walk like don't run for 2 weeks and then go do the 50K. Like it's
but the thing is, and this is not a knock on you by any means. You have a level of fitness and confidence in that fitness that like if you wanted to do a full marathon this weekend, you could do it.
I mean, he could do it and get through it, but like the thing is, this is again not a knock on him. Back when we were in 2019, when we were doing higher mileages regularly in 2020, we were consistently running through the weeks higher mileage.
Yeah.
So he was doing it feeling good. Now he does it and he kind of grinds through it. So he's not putting in the work in the in-between. He's doing the Matt Allgaier method of running race to race to race and not having much time to do anything in between because he's signed up for all these things and he's in constant taper. So he doesn't have enough time to like rebuild anything. And he's just going to like,
You know who was also doing that? Ryan. You know what he has? Shin splints. Almost a stress fracture. Not quite. He got like whatever
that's like.
The MRI thing. It's because he was like, I'm at a good fitness level. I can just go out and do a half marathon. So he wouldn't train and he'd do a half marathon. And then he would just kind of hang out and then he'd do a half marathon.
Well, to be fair, I did a lot of training in the summer.
Yeah.
And then I had labor pains. We had rocking the knob. Then we had this. So they all kind of fell like 3 to 4 weeks apart.
Yeah.
So like I couldn't do a lot in between them. So that, to be fair to me, like I did a lot of miles in the summer.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that. But we were also at that time, if we were in 2019, we were going race to race to race weekends. And I figured this out because I was talking about my race season that year. And I wasn't trying to rehash things about like how I used to be, but like it was just one of those things where I ran because the 50K for MCM was this past weekend. And I was like, I ran that right after I ran the 55. And then like a few weeks later, I ran a PR marathon after running a sub-2 half marathon the week before.
Yeah.
And I was just running like race to race to race to race, but we were also consistently running during the week, which I think was also helping continue our base constantly.
Yep.
We also didn't have anything else to do. So we were doing that.
Oh.
We just have a lot more to do now.
Yeah.
In 2019, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't really matter.
All right.
Finally, in the last few weeks, I have made the decision that I am not going to start the marathon at Dopey.
I'm proud of you.
I think that having said that has taken this giant weight that's just sort of been crushing me down of feeling like I have to get back. And I know people are trying to be supportive and say those things like, oh, you're so strong. You've done this before. You can totally get there. You know, you might just have to walk a lot. You've grinded through your way through other races, blah, blah, blah. And I know people are trying really hard to be supportive, but if anything, it kind of was giving the opposite effect and making me feel really anxious because I felt like if I didn't do it, I was going to let all these people down. And that was really just starting to like sit so heavy on me that I felt paralyzed.
Yeah.
So I have let that go. I am saying it here. I am not starting the marathon.
I think that's a brave decision.
Cheering for you all. I'm really sad, but it's the right decision for me.
Well, look, that's maturity. Like
I just want this. If I'm going to come back again, everyone keeps talking about this idea of a comeback, including me. But like, I keep doing it on the terms of I have to do this because I'm supposed to, because I have this thing on my calendar that I put there 7 months ago. And I can't do that anymore because I keep doing that. And that's how I keep falling back down. So I need to start from the beginning and I need to like do this on my own terms. I need to do like 3 to 5 miles until I feel really good about doing those 3 to 5 miles and not even think about doing other distances, which is why I said that I'm not even 100% sure that I am starting the half marathon. I'm not taking it off the table completely, but I'm not 100% sure I'm starting it.
No, and I think saying that and being comfortable with that is the smartest decision that you can make. And it's a tough decision. But I think you're right. And I think even and I know you said you had this weight of letting people down. I think by you doing this is giving people, you know, not that, I mean, I always have you on a pedestal because I love you so much. But like, I think by you doing this, you're also kind of giving permission to other people that might be in the same boat that we're struggling with a decision. Like, I think it's setting a good example for people. And I don't know. I'm really proud of you for doing this. And I mean, honestly, when you say that, that's true because
it's a conversation I've had with multiple people who have been training for Dopey, and I'm not going to call anyone specific out who's made decisions, but a few people I know who have made the decision, and one specific person made the decision she wasn't doing it. And when we talked about it, I was like, you are so right. And and I've told her this, like, she almost inspired me to finally be like, no, this is enough. I need to stop.
Yeah.
For myself too. So I do agree, like, being able to talk about it and being able to, like, see other people say, no, like, I don't have to do this, can help other people. So,
and it's so hard for runners because all we do is encourage each other. All we do is say, one more, you can do it. The grind, you know, and even that's how you feel like you actually really injured yourself, because it was like, one more lap. I'll just do it in my UFOs. Like, this is fine. Yep. Rather than someone just saying, like, sit your ass down. We need to be done.
No, it's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
And you need Tom with you.
I do. I appreciate all of the love and the support and all the people who want to be encouraging and say those things. And I know I do it too. I do it to other people as well. Like, you've got this, you know, that's in our nature. But I think we need to take 5 seconds to take a step back when someone's talking to us and say, wait, is this right for this person? And I want to just tell you that it's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to say no.
And it's okay to say no, even if it's a mental thing, honestly. Like, everyone says, well, if it's mental, just push through. I mean, it's just as important to say no, that if this is taking too much a toll on you mentally, to just say, and that's enough. And I think that's fine.
One of the people that I talked to this past weekend who finally said she's done, that was it for her. And when we were talking about it, I said, where are you mentally? If you don't want to be miserable, if you think you're just going to be miserable and you're just going through the miles for no reason, then why are you doing it? And I think that is a good point. It doesn't have to just be physical. If you are not in a mental space to be able to take on a challenge like that, it's not a good place to be.
Yep.
When I think it's good to get back to a place where you enjoy running for just the simple physicality of it, or the release that it gives you when you're just out by yourself, not hopping from event to event, making sure that you have to show up to an event, you know, like, you should focus on yourself and getting back into being in the shape that you're comfortable in and enjoy running, right? Just running's very personal. Running's a very solo thing, although we do it in giant groups and, like, the community is amazing. But, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to find that joy in it again.
Okay. And then our friend Run Disnerd sliding into Tom's DMs.
Hey, we're now friends on the social medias.
Ooh. Oh, I see.
Oh, God. Sometimes I think the mental toughness and personal/social sacrifice that comes with training can be harder than the actual miles. That's 100% true. Having to say, no, I can't go to X event because I have a long run in the morning, over and over starts to take a toll on me. I'd love to go out and see friends, but I'd also know skipping a workout can make things miserable on race day. Loving running and races is a true double-edged sword. The accomplishments are amazing, but sacrifices can be soul-crushing at times. It's so interesting he said this, and this just proves that they're actual soulmates, because this is the thing that Tom was upset about over the weekend and he was talking about. That he just misses going out, especially at this time of year. He feels like he's missing out on things. Yeah. He's like listing events and, can we do it? And if we went to that event, it would either make the run miserable or the event not fun because we were thinking about the run. So is it even worth doing?
I mean, Dopey, I knew what I was signing up for, right? Like, it is a full commitment of just most of your downtime if you're going to bounce back and be able to continue to show up for the miles. Like, yeah, it's tough. I feel you. I feel you, Run Diz Nerd.
And I think the thing about that is that if you're also feeling like crap on your runs and you're not having a good time training and you have to say no to a bunch of things, you feel like you don't have anything. And that's where I get sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
what is this worth?
Because I'm like, oh my God, like all I want to do is like go hang out at a brewery. And I can't do that right now. I can, but it may not be the best thing.
All right. We got Shailene Goes the Distance. I love that you are talking about this. It is so hard to be sidelined and wanting to cheer for all your friends, but feeling like you're missing out. I'm coming back from a foot injury that has had me out for 7 weeks in the middle of training for my first marathon and first Dopey. Now that I can start running again, I'm so full of gratitude for every step without pain. I can also now see some of the gains I made through strength training, cycling that I wouldn't have done otherwise.
Awesome.
I will probably be more well-rounded runner athlete in the future because of the downtime. But I couldn't see the positive side while I was still injured. The really hard part is when you're unable to run is not knowing when or in what condition you will return. It just feels hopeless while you're in it. Like every day your goal just gets further away and harder to reach. I tried coping by doing a lot of cross training and focusing on other goals, but I still had some really bad days and weeks and struggled more than I thought I would. Reach out to your injured run friends often. It means so much, and they need to know that you're still here to cheer them on. And when you're injured, try to focus on what you can do more than what you focus. Try to focus on what you can do more than you focus on what you can't. And I just almost started getting really emotional about that because I get to read all of the ones that I just see myself in.
It sounded exactly like you. I'm just saying. You're not alone.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's why I struggled at the end of that because I was like, oh, man, this is just me again.
And it is interesting that sometimes an injury, it does sometimes feel like it sets you back and that it puts you in a bad spot, but you do come out different. So when I started doing the elliptical and things like that, when I was injured, I came out of that a different runner because I was working on muscles and things that I hadn't normally worked at. And even right before we started recording, Aaron stretched and Tom was like, do you have a bicep now? And I was like, that's all over yoga. Like,
I am curious how it'll be returning, having Pelotoned hundreds of miles since I got my Peloton.
Yeah, it's just,
interesting.
Also, format change. We're considering changing the format of this podcast to strictly Benjamin Franklin related.
Just Benjamin Franklin. Is it just about like beer and prostitutes?
Yes.
Like that was kind of his
Hey,
MO, right?
His thing.
That's his jam.
It's his thing.
Yeah.
That's his thing.
I don't know, Aaron. We're all tired. Everyone's tired.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's dark all the time.
Well, it's dark all the time, and we're
well, you guys are dopey training.
Oh, yeah, you guys
like
are
hardcore
into it.
at this point.
Training.
Yeah.
We are
8 miles on weekdays, 9 miles on weekdays.
Although Diana is definitely out of a lot of the people that I know are training, and they're doing really well. Between the two of us, she's the most committed to training.
Yeah.
She's running fast. Like I'm sitting right next here to Sonic the Hedgehog, and she's icing up her legs.
I'm only fast when I'm on the treadmill.
I don't know.
Oh, boy.
Because when I'm outside running by myself, I'm running like your pace.
Thanks. So
let's save it for the training updates.
God.
I know. I was kind of like trying to.
That's fine. I've
hint to Tom
already
that
gone off the rails.
That we were
off the rails. December's hard. We have like Christmas parties. I have company Christmas parties. We have all kinds of stuff happening. Diana and Tom are on vacation
and running 6,000 miles.
Yeah, we just have
awful.
a lot going on. So we just decided this December we're going to take some time off and enjoy marathon week and marathon weekend. And we'll be back after marathon weekend.
And if we actually record it slightly earlier, we may not be in as much of a panic as we will be when the actual episode's released.
Yes.
Oh, maybe we should wait to record it so we can hear Tom and Diana.
When it starts getting
that's
real.
When we'll be spiraling. Like, it's going to be...
Guys, I feel like maybe we should wait.
We were, what was it, yesterday? Both of us were so cranky.
Yes.
We were
Yes, we
so
were.
cranky. For like no reason. Both of us were like, everything's stupid.
Well, have you paid attention? Everything is stupid. Anyhow.
All right. I think that's all the cleanup. We'll put all this onto our socials. We'll put all of it onto the group page. Come follow us and yeah. Forward
My
is
training's
emotion.
going awesome.
Hanging in.
I mean, we're definitely getting the long runs in on the weekend.
I mean, you now have gotten the longest distance you've ever done in your life, right? So each week at this point's a milestone.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the 20 miler in 2 weeks because mentally that'll do wonders.
It's a hurdle.
For me.
Yeah. It's a nice hurdle to get over.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they say you don't have to do a 20 miler in training, and I do believe that. But for most people, the 20 or 22 miler kind of settles their mental. So I absolutely agree, especially on your first marathon, that you should run that 20 miler.
They say you don't have to run 20 miles.
No,
I've always heard you don't have to run 22.
No,
or
the
24.
Hansen method is completely based on the longest you ever run is 16 miles.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But you run a back to back, so you'll run you run a lot of back to back. So you'll run like a 10 miler and a 16 miler because the idea is to run on fatigue legs. So you're still simulating fatigue legs without overexerting your muscles by making them go to the 20. So your recovery is different. So it's all about fast twitch versus slow twitch muscles in that philosophy. So when I did my first marathon, I'd actually never run past 16 miles.
Yeah. I will say it's probably better if you're more experienced.
Agreed.
But
I wouldn't recommend that method.
Yeah.
I did it, and I don't recommend it for first-time marathoners.
Yeah, because there's mental hurdles you got to get
Absolutely.
past. Yeah.
I always say that for me, I should have, I wish I had done that 20 miler for my mental, but I had picked this
wild
method.
I think I did a couple 20s before I did my first.
I very much believe in the philosophy that you don't need to run 20 milers during marathon training if you do it correctly. But I would never say that to a first-time marathoner.
No. Yeah, I agree.
Look at Diana's face.
That's so wild to me.
Yeah. I mean, but you run 50 miles in the week.
You're still doing a lot.
High mileage run plan, but you're doing an 8, 10, 16.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still doing 40 miles during that week.
I feel that's a recipe for DNF.
No, it works.
I feel like you put that into a soup and it comes out of DNF.
No, even a lot of ultra training now is lower mileage. Higher, still high mileage during the week, but all
yeah. And the book is very interesting. I'm super in that's the super sciencey stuff that I'm into about the fast twitch. It's the whole power zone thing on Peloton too. Getting your musculoskeletal system.
But for the first one, definitely getting 1 or 2 20s under your belt is huge mental hurdle to make you feel okay, I've been here. Huge. I can do it.
And I can even see people who do the 22, 23 miler for their mental health.
Yep. Yeah, you want to know that you can get it done. I get that.
And Tom, I have no doubt you're going to get it done.
So that's how I'm doing. We're just in it.
You have a 9 miler tomorrow, right?
9 miles tomorrow morning.
On a Thursday.
On a Thursday morning. On a work day.
Wow.
But it is what it is.
And it's going to be freezing tomorrow morning.
It is what it is.
BRFs, he's coming for you for real now.
I'm going to wear my Will Run for buff.
Oh.
So I can sweat into it and then have it freeze to my face. But yeah, I don't know. Every weekend we got the long runs, and then I'm not the greatest at the midweek runs. Like, I'll get my cumulative mileage, but there's still like a little bit of that dog walk that I apply to it. And I don't know.
Time on feet, man. Time
Yeah.
on
I know.
feet.
No, I get it. But it's not pure.
Yeah, but
But like I also don't care. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
this is such a full-time job. It's ridiculous.
those midweek ones, I would like if you're missing a little bit of them, I wouldn't like worry too much. You're getting your big ones in, and that's
There's also life that happens,
gotta
right?
live,
So like, sometimes stuff happens and missing one run, missing 3 miles out of a 9 mile or in your midweek run is not going to derail your training. That is an important lesson across the board for all people running their first marathons.
And you don't need to make it up or
there's
whatever.
That took me a very long time to learn that lesson because I was a slave to those training plans for a long time. And you do not need to make up those miles. Do not feel like you're like, oh, I missed 2 miles here. I'll just tack them on there. Don't do it.
That being said, I don't want it to be mile 23 of that marathon, and I want to lay down in the middle of the street and think, why didn't you put in the extra time?
No.
Yeah, but you're
3
gonna feel
months
like
ago?
that regardless. So it
Honestly,
doesn't matter.
You know what I'm saying?
It's not that 2 miles that you took off that
Isn't-
9 miler
isn't the
is
reason.
not why you're feeling
It
like
might
that.
It
I
might
promise you.
We'll see.
I
It-
promise you.
You say that, but I think it is cumulative. That
If you do
I
it-
do feel like it makes a difference because that's what I did last time.
Yeah, but you did
and
it
I felt
regularly.
like garbage.
Here's to be fair, you did it for every week. You were like, I don't need to do that long run. I'm talking like, okay, Tom's been doing really good. And this 1 week, he's like, I can't make this happen this week. I'm talking about like, don't
That's
throw away the
not
whole
what's
training
happening,
plan.
though.
Yeah, but it's also not exactly what's not happening.
And I did all my long weekend runs. But it was on the weekdays where it would be 7 or 8, and I would always do 4 ish.
Yeah, no, see that's cumulative.
And I would do.
I agree. That's cumulative.
It was at least one of the runs every week. I was way less than what I should have done, and then. Yeah, it just wasn't as consistent. And so I keep telling Tom that I'm slightly worried because of how bad I felt.
Yeah, consistency is definitely a key.
No, you're right. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, I would say consistency is key, but also don't discount those dog walks that you do.
Yeah.
I do think that, if you're doing a 9 miler and then you're still walking your dog 2 more miles, I mean, that's more than even you need to and or should be doing. Don't also forget rest is also important. Rest is almost as important as the actual runs themselves, and proper recovery is almost as important as the actual runs themselves.
But if you have to do 7 miles and you count it as I walked the dog 2 miles in the morning and 2 miles in the evening.
Yeah, it's probably
that's
not
what
as,
it's been.
That's a little different.
Yeah.
It has not been that way all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just finding a balance because you can't. Yeah, there's no way to get all of it in every time. It's just
no.
Yeah.
No, it's
Just
too hard.
finding
It's
the
too hard to get
balance,
all of
yeah.
it in every time.
But it is important. And time on your feet is important, but running is important.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying don't discount.
I'm not saying you're saying that, but like tomorrow, I want to do the 9, regardless of any kind of dog walks.
Yeah, there you go.
It's still going to happen, right? But
yeah. So like last week when I had to run 8, I got the dog. We walked 2 miles, and then I immediately like I got dressed for my run, walked the dog 2 miles, came home, dropped him off, and then immediately went out and did 6.
Yeah, as all part of like a warm up, and then go do your run kind of thing.
Yeah, did the actual run. So I think like the more of that, the better.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to make my Peloton goal for the year.
What was your Peloton goal?
It was like 500 rides.
Oh. Well, I mean,
I'm
How
at
are you supposed to
300,
do
but
that
like,
once you?
I haven't sat on that bike in a while.
Time-wise, I mean...
Time-wise, I mean, even now for me, when I'm thinking about fitting in runs, like right now, I'm doing all 30-minute rides back again because I started adding running in, and I'm like, well, I don't want to overdo it by doing like a 60-minute ride and then want to run like the next day when I'm like my legs still aren't quite used to that yet. So yeah, I mean, you're that's just too much trying to fit that into Dopey training.
Yeah. And on Wednesdays, we're supposed to be doing cross training. And I had originally thought all my cross training would be Pelotoning, but it's either been some type of like strength train on the Peloton or it's been walking, is what a lot of it has been. So walking like 2 or 3 miles.
Just to get something in and recover. And
because our training plan is like cross train / walk on Wednesday. So that's typically what we've been doing. And I don't know why. I haven't been on that bike. When was the last time I was on the bike? Like 2 months ago, I feel like. It's since Dopey training. I haven't been on the bike, I don't think. I'm excited to get back on. I'm excited for like
post-Dopey.
Post-Dopey, so I can get back on the bike and so I can do Orange Theory. I don't know how I was doing
that
it.
Butt's gonna hurt.
It's gonna hurt really bad. But I was going to Orange Theory and then coming home and then doing like a 20-minute ride on the bike.
Yeah. I actually, part of the reason why I want to keep riding is because I'm afraid my butt will start to hurt too much again if I take too much time off.
Yeah.
I worked real hard to get my butt in a perfect place for this bike.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
This could take a turn.
The other thing about training and something that I've observed with Tom that I'm so proud of is how kind of I can see him mentally getting stronger with the training plan and how it's working. So we had to do 14, 16, and 14. And you were kind of struggling for the last like mile or so of each of like the 14 and the 16. But then when we did this last 14, I said it to you, I think the night before, like in the car on the way to where we were meeting, and like before we started running, I was like, hey, this is the 3rd time you've run 14 miles. So like you don't have to worry about it. And you were totally fine.
Yeah.
Like, because usually he, when I say Tom has a breakdown when we run, it's just you can tell he gets kind of quiet. He gets kind of in his head. He starts like slowing down more than having like the kind of meltdown I would have.
I'm like little microaggressive comments.
Yeah, he gets like real snippy. And he wasn't like that, at all. So I just like see you kind of little by little getting stronger and stronger and more confident.
I will say that first 20 miler, I'm going to be a complete. I apologize, Michael. I anticipate it, but I'm not scared of it. And I think that's one of the biggest things is like when you're not scared of these distances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's so funny. Like I said, he's been talking about Thanksgiving week since I put this on his calendar at like the beginning of last year, that he's been dreading this week, and now it's next week. And you're like, oh, it's fine.
When's the simulated Dopey weekend?
We don't do one.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were doing one or not. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not in our plan.
Yeah, some people do them and some people don't. But you're still doing but you guys, even though you're technically not doing a Dopey sim, you are doing like 2 back-to-backs, right? Like a lot of your runs, like a Saturday, Sunday, you have like an 8-miler and then a 16-miler or a 16-miler and an 8-miler. Like that. Yeah. That is a Dopey sim. People just don't. For some reason, there's just like this in the Jeff Galloway. It's called Dopey sim, and they put the 2-miler, the 5-miler, like stacked all together. Yeah. But realistically, it's the same. It's you are doing when you're doing these long back-to-backs. That's what you're simulating.
Yeah, our rest days are Mondays and Fridays.
Yeah.
How many 20s are there?
There's
2,
3.
Right? Oh, 3.
But we're only going to do 2 because we're in Disney for one of them.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to run at all when you're in Disney?
I'm not. Tom says he is.
I would play it by ear and
people
see
say
how long you're on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Because the other thing you can't discount, again, it's the time on feet thing. You cannot discount how tired your legs will be from being on your feet all day in the parks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And pushing strollers and all of that.
If you're doing,
I'm counting all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean,
and
honestly, if you have enough juice in your watch, I would charge it at night and then just turn it on just so that you can even for your own mental state, Tom, see how many miles you're actually doing, because you'll be surprised how many miles you do in Disney. I think the one time I did that for the full day, I mean, it was almost like 16 miles by the time the day was done.
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes just look at the steps, right? Because I think a mile is about 2,400 steps for me, 2,500 steps. So I'll just do that math at the end of the day and see how many, how many times that divides.
And then you can't discount the standing. And then if you're pushing strollers and it'll wear you down fast. I know it's always messed me up. Like at the, like a week or two after a Disney trip, I'll go out on runs and be like, why do I feel so sluggish? Like I've always had that. And it took me like a couple times before I got it into my head. No, you're going to feel sluggish because you were on your feet like some idiotic amount of time.
Yeah. And so even the week you get back from Disney, that's something to definitely keep in mind when you guys go back out for your runs, that week might be a little tougher because your legs will just be, and it's a different kind of tired from even just your runs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of Diana for, she posted on her Instagram her plan with all the green and the very, very little orange she had on there.
Yeah, I'm so proud of myself.
You should be.
Getting out there and getting it done. I'm super proud. I'm super proud of everyone out there who's doing Dopey training. And getting those runs in. And
it's interesting seeing all these different plans everybody's on.
Yep.
I'm officially Dopey training now.
Oh, God.
Officially?
No, he's not.
I am. I'm going to be consistent for the next month.
Oh, okay.
I forget. You're not doing Dopey, right?
Yes, I'm doing Dopey.
You're doing Dopey. For some reason, I thought you were.
All four of us were supposed to be doing Dopey.
Yeah.
This is the most disappointing part about me not doing Dopey, is that I am now the one of the four not doing Dopey.
I had these time goals for Dopey, and now I'm like inching back to them again.
Are you like feeling like in the zone a little bit?
I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see how Loopy Looper goes in December.
Frosty Looper
goes in December. If I can hit like a little over 40 miles there, I want to get at least 40. If I get like 40, what would it be? 44-ish or whatever it would be. I don't know. However,
in 8 hours,
so many miles.
4. I would like to get 40 in 8.
40 is so many miles.
Tough.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be tough. I didn't say it wasn't.
But then you're gonna kill your legs.
Yeah, but I have a couple weeks off after that. It's like not like, Do we want to get into your final training bits here? I mean, I know you have like 2 weeks left of high mileage before taper,
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah, because your peak week would be. I mean, you just did your first 20 miler, Tom. I'm super proud of you. But yeah, like the weekend of the 17th, 18th is your last 20 miler, right?
I believe so.
I was going to let Tom talk because I talk a lot.
No.
I just kept waiting for him to say something. Like and
I was waiting for you.
Yeah,
I
Tom,
guess
you
that's
take it.
You kind of like gave it to him, and then he didn't take it. So like,
I figured it was his first time doing something
that's why I was kind of trying. I was
apologies
to pitch that at you there, Tom. I'll re-pitch that to you.
Swing.
Yeah, I mean, you actually have a few more weeks, right? Your peak week would be the 17th, 18th. That seems about right. That's 3 weeks before?
Yeah, that's our last 20 miler before taper.
Okay.
We do have a couple back-to-back weekends in there where we'll do like a 10 miler and a 15 miler. So we do have some other longer runs, but the first 20 miler was yesterday, and it went, I think, as good as it possibly could have gone. I mean, I only threw 5 to 6 to 7 tantrums, but Diana hung in there with me.
So you ran all 20. I was actually wondering about that because I saw Nikki and Nicole were together. So you and Diana stuck the whole thing out together?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she put up with a lot. But we've been fueling properly. A little aside.
It's important.
My go-to fueling for the longest time has been these chocolate outrage.
I used to use those.
Goos that
I can't do chocolate.
They're like pudding.
In my head, tastes like a snack pack.
Yeah, they actually. I think they taste
like pudding.
Yeah, like frosting almost. Like just like
I used to
pudding
love
mix,
them.
Yeah.
And within
until my stomach turned.
Within the last 3 weeks, I can't get them down anymore. Like,
yeah, that'll happen. Yeah,
it's to the point where like they trigger a dry heave, and I'm like, "What is this? What is this reaction?"
We warned you that was coming because that was all you were using forever, and I said you need to mix it up because that's what I did, and then you can't even get them down.
Do you take water at the same time, or do you just try and?
Most of the time, I do. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And even like liquefying them a little bit hasn't been helping.
Okay. How it works is I hold my breath completely.
What?
I squeeze the entire thing into my mouth. And
well, maybe that's part of the problem.
I don't understand why I keep getting these stitches in my side when I drink water while I run.
And then I put a lot of water in there, and I swallow the whole thing whole, like you swallow an oyster.
Why?
You should try. I would recommend doing like the packet in thirds.
Yeah.
Like take a third of it.
Put a little water.
Drink some water.
Swallow a little bit more.
Do a third of it. Then,
that's typically what I did. I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like we may have solved the problem.
I feel like the whole packet at once.
Maybe it's not that your body is betraying you about the goose. Maybe it's the way that you are betraying your body by taking the goose.
Also, he came home and yelled at me like it was my fault, like I wished that upon him because I had warned him about it. He came home and was like, I couldn't take my goo.
All of a sudden, you suggest that it's going to, come back on me. And then it did.
And then it did.
You manifested
she has
this.
A little voodoo doll.
She brought this into existence, and you can't tell me otherwise.
A doll that she took some goo and put it on the voodoo doll, so that this is what happened.
Yeah. The other thing is Tom ordered a new Camelback.
I
God,
did.
yeah, because of the lost one. Yeah,
because I wore it one time at Rockin' the Knob, then it disappears.
It disappeared.
And so, but okay, so the Camelback worked perfectly fine. I had plenty of water. We maintained good intervals throughout. We did flip them at like the midway point, but like that's part of my strategy because if I can do the 5-10 half and then in the full, if I can maintain certain intervals and then flip them at the midpoint, it's part of my overall strategy on how to manage that marathon.
Yeah.
That's good.
He actually made it a little further than halfway, so we didn't switch the interval until like mile 13. So
that's good.
Yeah. You did a nice job.
Yeah, you're going to have to be flexible that day because a lot of it's going to depend on weather and things like that too, If it's like a hot year like the past couple, then you're going to want to get, keep your intervals as long as you can before you start, because you're probably going to start fully walking at some point if we have those 80, like another 80-degree marathon.
Because that's what I want, and I'll be there.
You're the jinx.
It'll be like 30 degrees, and everyone will be yelling at me.
And if it's raining, you're just want to get it done because it's miserable. So.
Yeah.
There's that.
So yeah, my confidence is pretty high right now based on just that 120 miler, but we'll see how the rest of training goes and just take it day by day. But yeah, I feel pretty good.
Yeah, how you feeling today?
A little sore.
That's not bad though. After your first 20,
not too bad.
I mean, if you're only a little sore, that means you've been, building up correctly.
Mm-hmm.
No, I tend to complain about 30% more than I actually should. Like if I'm at a 7, everyone's going to think I'm at a 10. But that's self-awareness.
Yeah.
Like I can walk today. Like
Yeah.
I didn't think that would be possible.
And we went out last night.
Yeah.
Yo, there you go. Look at that.
So
It's like this thing called training
Yeah.
works.
Like it
Yeah,
works.
the training's been working.
Yeah.
Who knew?
And we're supposed to do 8 today. I woke up not feeling well, sore throat, because as we've mentioned several times, my immune system actively works against me instead of for me. And because we're leaving for Disney this week, I didn't want to risk it. So I went out and I walked 3. And Tom, I don't know. You said that I don't think you were going to plan on doing the 8. You might get on the bike, is I think what you said. So
I will probably jump on the bike and get a couple rides in.
Just get some cross training in.
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm just doing the 3, and now it's pouring raining here. So we wanted to get
I
a
went out
couple.
this morning
Yeah.
to try and beat the rain. Yeah, with my Dopey training.
Yeah.
I will say, and I do not want to jinx it, and I'm probably going to jinx it, but the weather gods have definitely shined upon this Dopey training, because whenever we have to do a long run, it's been dry and it's definitely been above freezing. Like some of them have been colder, but like not terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm much better running like 10 plus miles in 40s.
Yeah. I feel like in 2017, it got down to the 20s in October. Like immediately it was freezing the entire time we were training. So,
Oh,
Well, the freezing is good if it's going to be cold in Disney because that prepares you. Honestly, has it not? I don't want to say that. Never mind.
what?
I'm not going to jinx the world. I'm not going to say it because I'm not going to jinx
There's
the
no
entire rest of
there's
no,
no
but
such thing
there
as
are
jinxes.
plenty of people and listeners that while you may not believe things are
That's
a jinx,
fine. They can believe
I
what they
won't put
want.
it into
you
the-
can't make the weather happen.
I
I'm
will
just
not
saying
put
that.
it into the
no,
universe.
don't put that badness out
Michael,
there.
I don't know
I'm
if
not
you
gonna
understand
put-
science, but if I say it's going to...
Listen, I agree that the science part of my brain says it's not going to work. But there's plenty of other people that believe in the universe. And so I will just not put that badness into it.
I will say 2017, I ran. Was it 2017 when I ran? Yeah, I ran my first marathon. That was a very cold year.
Yeah.
It was windy the whole time. That was the year the half was canceled. And running in the cold up here did not help me enjoy the cold down there anymore.
That's a different story of enjoying. Enjoying is a different word.
No.
But I have in the past for like marathons, run in the rain on purpose because you never know what will happen on race day.
Yeah, that's true.
So I will actually be like, ugh.
Well, I think part of it is knowing what to do in different conditions to keep yourself good.
I'll only do it if it's freezing and raining, I will not go out and train in it.
Yeah, there's no point because then you're just going to get sick anyway.
Yeah,
but
it's just miserable. But like if it's warm and rainy, I actually don't mind that.
Yeah, I don't mind. I like warm rain
In
as long as there's no lightning and thunder.
Yeah, in the summer, sometimes like I wish it would rain to break the humidity. I'm like, if it would just rain for like 10 minutes, it would feel so much better out here.
Yeah. Michael and I ran in the rain a few times this summer, but then I don't know because I don't know what's worse because then right after you run in the rain, sometimes it gets like that, like after rain where like the steam comes off
in the summer,
off the road,
and it's like
even worse, and you're in a sauna.
like you're in a sauna.
I don't know. I don't know what's worse. Anyway,
but as people finish their training and head into taper, realize it's normal to if you've never like tapered or whatever before, it's normal to feel weird tapering.
Oh yeah, taper is. They like jokingly, there's memes and stuff where they joke around about taper madness.
Yeah.
But it's real. Like, all of a sudden you'll feel like, oh, is that a cold coming on? Oh, is that my foot feeling like it's gonna act up again? What's that twitchy feeling in my
I think the biggest
hamstring?
thing is you feel like you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
Those last like 2 weeks or whatever, 2.5 weeks. But you shouldn't. Just don't.
There's a science to tapering.
It's better to do nothing than do too
and
much.
Michael, more than anyone, I think, has learned that
I have nailed the science.
Okay, I will not go with that, but I will say that he never believed me about tapering properly. And then, no, you used to run like long runs the weekend before, and then we had yes,
all right, maybe,
maybe,
and then we had a couple of DNFs, and he was like, "Oh, maybe we should like."
Oh, well, that was the
properly.
rock and the knobs.
Well, that wasn't. Well, there. In general, just over the like. Tapering is a real thing. You should actually taper.
We did learn a lesson from that.
Taking rest and allowing your body to rest and recover itself from all the hard work you've done. It does not mean you will lose the fitness that you have gained from all of that. It actually just allows your muscles to actually repair themselves so that they can be strong enough to take you into their strongest point in race day.
Yes. Yeah. But to be fair, we did something really stupid.
Well, I mean, it wasn't just then. I mean, I'm just saying, in general, you've always been like, I don't need to taper. Yes. But you really should taper.
No, I always tapered. I don't know what you're talking about.
So here's a question.
That one time.
Can we not argue about this?
This is not about tapering. But I have a question about tapering. For the average runner, whatever that means, do you have to taper for anything less than a full marathon?
I taper for a half.
Yes.
Like you taper for a half?
I think you can taper for a half.
Okay. I mean,
it's probably not as critical as a full, but it's
I would disagree with you completely, especially for first time half marathoners, that tapering is not necessary for a half marathon.
I just said it's not as critical as a full.
I just disagree with you.
Yeah, and you also don't like turkey.
For a first time half marathoner, it is critical for them to taper.
All right.
So marathon weekend.
My God.
I didn't know
I don't know why you have to argue about everything.
I didn't. I just offered my opinion.
This is what we should offer the Patreons. Like if we had like a special Patreon subscription thing, we would just get arguments.
Us bickering.
People would pay for that.
Oh God.
Yeah, but tapering is good. And you'll feel weird, but
it does feel weird. And we've got tapering like built into our plan. So like Aaron said, we've got a 10 and a 20 the weekend of the 17th. And then we go down to like a 16 and an 8th. And then New Year's Eve, like weekend, we have 8 and 3. So I'm in the following
it keeps
weekend.
You in a flow without,
Yeah, if you actually follow a plan, I'd say most plans have taper built into them, including half marathon plans, because it allows you to still have some structure and kind of let you know what you should be doing. And so you're not flailing.
Yeah, typically I try, when I'm training for a half, I try and do 10 2 weeks before, sometimes 3 weeks before. I usually do maybe 10, 8, 6, and then the half or something like that. But sometimes it's like 10, 8, and 8, depending on how I'm feeling. Yeah.
I will say one other observation from training before we move off of that is Diana is super trained.
Oh, yeah. More than I've ever been for anything I've ever done in my life.
Like at the end of this 20 miler, she was doing this thing where she was running at because I kind of just want to walk. And like the last mile, let's just walk it out. She's like, well, you got to run because you got to run through the suck. Like once it sucks really bad, she likes to push through that kind of pain. So she knows that she can do it probably on race day. Right. And I think of the Orange Theory and all of the mornings on the treadmill when you're doing 7 at a pace that's ridiculous and you don't want to do it, but you do it. Like all of that stuff is paying off. She's a much stronger runner than me.
Yeah.
But
I wish I could lose some weight with it so I'm not as fat as a runner, but I feel like a stronger runner, so I'll take it.
Dopey trainers. Anybody gaining weight?
Yes, you do. It's hard not to.
It's not even just
pretty
dopey.
Normal.
I mean, it's pretty normal for a marathon. It's like probably the most common thing that if you Google on the internet about marathon training, what will happen? You will gain weight.
Yeah.
You have to fuel. It is what it is.
I actually haven't gained any weight, but I haven't lost any, which is frustrating.
Yeah. Just stay stable. Yeah.
I've stayed where last time I did gain, and I lost some before I started training and I didn't gain that back, but I wish I'd lost just a little bit more before I fully jumped in. But no, I'm feeling super strong. I actually said after we did the 18 miles last weekend, I was like, I can do Dopey next weekend if we need to. Like, I feel
at that point.
I feel ready, ready to go and not just totally miserable. Now, yesterday I did not want to be out there. I did not want to do it, which is different than feeling like you can't do it. But
that's different. Yeah, those are two different things.
Yeah, different.
Like, where I was like,
not wanting to be out there versus like
it's early. It's going to take 5 hours. Like, it was all of that. But I actually
versus
feel
I don't
really
think
good.
I can finish.
Yeah.
Two different feelings.
And that feeling of like, I don't want to do this anymore definitely hits me. But I even told Tom that running with him helps me because I do feel like I have to kind of stay mentally strong because both of us cannot be having a meltdown.
Can't have a double meltdown.
So like, even if I like feel like garbage, I typically don't say anything. Or if like my feet start hurting or whatever, I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to do it. Like, because I feel like he's like, I've done it before, so I know, but he hasn't. So I want to give him at least like his space to whatever. And I feel like I've been less of a this time. Sorry for the editing, but like,
not me.
Like, there were multiple times during training last time where I would walk out more than half of it, or I wouldn't be feeling good, or
I think it's partly because you have like the long weekday miles under your belt this time.
Yep, and
because trying to do, because I know that I went through a training cycle where I was only doing like 3 to 4 milers during the weekdays, and then I would be trying to push that 16 to 18 miler on the weekend, but my legs would feel like trash because I wasn't actually like, I just kept trying to do long run weekends with nothing else in between.
Yeah.
And it was like,
yep.
So the fact that you have those long runs in the weekdays and that you're doing them this time,
yes,
I feel like gives you much a different space.
It's a world of difference actually doing these long runs during the week. And I feel like it's kind of like the perfect formula because I do feel like I'm at the point now just because it's so many miles that my legs are tired, but I am not miserable. So we do 4 days of actual running, 1 day of cross training, and then Monday and Fridays are rest days. And I'll typically like walk a couple miles like with the dog or something like that. But I was doing that before. So it's not like I'm adding on anything that I wasn't doing pre-training. But I'm really impressed that I actually feel ready. And it's because I scared myself because I felt so terrible last time I did it. But we would even get to the point last time where I would be running with Nikki and Nicole. I'd have a meltdown and I'd say, I'm done. I'm turning around and walking the rest of the way. They would run out the extra like couple of miles and then turn around and then meet me walking and then walk it out with me. And then I'd feel guilty. And then when I got home, I'd be like, well, maybe I should go for a walk for 2 miles. Like it was awful. Like I just was not in the right headspace. And this time I definitely am. But I do feel that I am, privileged because I do have a job where I work remote. So I'm not getting up at 4 a.m. like I was before and like rushing to get, what I could before having to get into the office by 7:30. Like some days I don't log on until 8:30 because I've started later. So I've actually been sleeping later than I do when I go to Orange Theory for some of these runs. So because I was waking up at 5.
Helps a lot.
So I'm feeling, I don't know. I feel really good. That
does help a lot though.
Yeah, and if I didn't...
That time flexibility probably made a big difference.
It makes so much of a difference, and I have to run in the morning. Like, I can't run in the evening. I won't do it. So, having that flexibility is really, really helped. But I'm ready. Let's do it. Let's go.
Are you ready, Tom?
I mean, if it was next weekend, I would show up. And I would put in a good effort. And I could probably finish the entire thing, although it would be excruciating.
Yeah, you feel like these next few weeks will help you get there, though.
Yeah. And I'm definitely, I'm bouncing back quicker. So I feel like my main concern is how I'm going to feel after the half.
Yeah.
Because if I kind of have a strategy going into it for the 5 and the 10 and the half, but just being real careful and trying to recuperate as quickly as possible after that half, just so I can be as fresh and as ready to go for the full and just put in a good effort because I don't know. I feel good. I'm not 100% there yet, but I'm on the way.
I said that to Michael yesterday that I feel like you're at the point where you're running like 8 to 10 milers, like they're not like they're nothing, but like you're definitely in a different place than you were like 6 months ago, where you were like, if I gotta run, the longest distance I've run in a while is like 5 miles. I just got to get out there and do it. But like now you're like, oh, I have a 10 miler today. Ugh. And then, but you're like doing it.
Yeah, everybody does that.
And like normal. You're recovering from it and still going out there the next weekend and then doing another 10 to 15 miles. Like it's like now you're at a point where it's just sort of like not old hat, but you know what I mean? Like just sort of it's part of what you're doing. So it's no longer like, I don't know. I just think you're in a different place. Yeah. So I do think that if you had to do Dopey this week, you could probably do it because you've got that 20 miler under your belt.
No, and
it's probably a mental hurdle too.
It does. It does suck. Like we went to Capsgiving, like we do every year. The Caps won. We wanted to go out afterwards. We just had like a drink. Got back to the hotel room at midnight. Had to wake up at 5. Go do 4 miles before doing our 10K. So like we met and did a trail run, like down a little path for 4 miles and then went and did a 10K. Like, it's not like, that's not fun. Like we didn't want to do that. Like,
yeah,
but we did it.
Yeah.
But you need to do it to get to January.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah. I don't have any, like, and we were, because you spend a lot of time with somebody when you're out on a 20-mile run, and we're just trying to think of, okay, so what can we talk about now that we haven't talked about a million times?
Especially because you live together.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
So it's totally different when you're like running with your partner and you like can talk to each other anytime.
But like, I'm like, okay, so what are our future running plans? Like, what do we want to run? And it's hard to see past Dopey right now. Like, I just want to focus on this.
I agree. Yeah, there's no reason to look beyond that right now. With all the training you got going on.
Yeah.
But let me just, I would say for 95% of the listeners of this podcast, you know what we're talking about when we say Dopey and Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend. But for maybe the few of you that don't live in that space or know about that space, Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend is January 4th through the 8th. Of 2023, so 37 days. It's the only marathon in the Walt Disney or Run Disney series of events. Everything else is at most a half marathon. And the Dopey Challenge specifically is a 5K, a 10K, a half, and a full on 4 consecutive days. Each have a 5:30 a.m. start time of the race. But in order to get to the race, you're usually up and out of your room between, I'll say, 2 and 3 or 3:30 or so to get on your bus to get to the start corrals. So it's a whole thing. And thousands and thousands and thousands of people show up. And it's a really fun event. And a ton of people that listen to this podcast and that we know have done it or are doing it for the first time. And so that's what we're talking about. I say that because I talk about this stuff at work, and people who are not in this world, a lot of them have no concept of this. And then you get down to Walt Disney World and you see, I don't know, 25, 30,000 people that are all in on this, which is crazy. But yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Tom.
Yeah.
Tom.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I feel amazing.
You're going to do it.
I'm about to finish my first marathon, and I've been hard sobbing for the last quarter mile.
Yeah.
Look at these eyes.
All right, so we didn't really record anything today. We probably should have. I'm doing it right now. I'm literally recording right as you're telling me to record something. We are at the finish. We are walking towards Tom, trying to find him. We've got like so much clanking of medals happening here. Yeah, Tom finished. I'm going to find him. Michael wants to say something. Hold on.
So I just watched the final 3 finishers, and nobody's choked up here. There were no tears shed. Like, I was not hard sobbing at all. I'm actually walking past one of them now. They're in a chair. Those 3 finishers gave absolutely everything they had, and it was so amazing to watch. People helping them across and everything else. It was just always stay for the end if you can and watch. Just always stay to the end. That's all.
He's lying about hard sobbing. I hard sobbed for like half the time I was cheering. It's what I do. Tom, from Will Run 4.
Yeah.
You just finished your first marathon. What are you going to do next?
I'm going to Disney World, and I'm going to have a couple drinks and plot my next adventure.
Have I told you recently how proud of you I am?
You have, but I'm so proud of everybody that ran Dopey or any part of this weekend. It's a lot, and it takes a lot of preparation and a lot of courage to do this, and I'm just so incredibly impressed with everybody that's here. And everybody that stuck it out with me, because I turned into a little baby at like mile 12. So hats off to Diana and Greg from Orlando, because good Lord, they put up with a lot of crap.
Well, Michael, how was your race?
Steady, good, cool weather, very nice. I was waiting to blow up at some point, but I did not. I hydrated properly, I ate properly, and I finished, and I also lost 2 toenails.
I feel like the people who finished later in the race may not agree with your assessment of cool weather.
Well,
it has been a little warm over the last few hours. The sun came up and it got toasty.
Yeah, it was still cool when I finished.
We'll check in a minute. Diana from Will Run 4 podcast. You just finished the Disney Marathon. Dopey. What are you going to do next?
I'm going to take a nap because I'm real tired and my feet hurt.
That was not the answer Tom gave.
It was probably more emotional.
Nope. Tom said he's going to go to Disney World.
Oh.
But he's already here.
He's already here.
He's already here.
He's already here.
So it didn't make sense.
He's already here.
It's fine.
Yep.
How was your race?
Fine. Tom started struggling at 12. So then I was managing that for the rest of the race.
He already said thank you to you for putting up with a lot of his... I don't know if Michael's editing this, so we'll just go with crap.
Yeah.
He said that you and Greg from Orlando are in Orlando. I don't know. Is he from or in?
That I don't know.
I don't know. Wherever he's in Orlando, I guess.
In Orlando.
Or from Orlando. We don't know. Either way. That you guys put up a lot of his BS. Is this true?
That's true. And it was definitely more mental because he was doing so great into about mile 12 with the interval and the pacing, and he was exactly where he wanted to be. And then we switched the interval, and he was holding on. And then I didn't know in his head that he had a plan to just walk it out at 20.
Yeah. That happens. That happens regularly.
So that was a thing we did.
All right. Well, he finished. And you finished. And everyone's so proud of both of you. And Michael, I'm proud of you, all 3 of you.
Yay!
And now I'm going to go before the batteries die on this.
Oh, I had 3 drinks.
3 drinks.